Super T Sigma programming. It's time to bring up a make or break topic. A make or break topic. Let's go. We're gonna go red pill. We're gonna go red pill. Gonna talk some red pill. And yes, red pill in is social definition of red pill. I don't mean woke, but as it pertains to the dating sector, because I think there are some nuances dealing with human relations that we want to put out into the world again. First, what you can expect not to hear is I'm not gonna go with the whole chauvinistic angle. This is not gonna be like battle of the sexes type of thing. Nope, but just some real red pill talk when it comes to just relations. So here it is. The main things you want to have in the red pill scenario, as it pertains to dating. First and foremost, this is really one of your number one rules, if not the rule to follow. You have to love yourself at a maximum level. It's easy to say, but you have to be mentally meticulous in order to really, really apply this thing. It requires you picking yourself up immediately if you should be let down in the dating world, if you should be shut out of the dating world, if you're not even in the dating world. You have to love yourself. And this means liking yourself. This means also being infatuated with yourself. This is the way it goes. The mirroring effect is weird in the red pill reality. The more you pay attention to yourself, the more others will pay attention to you. The more you pay attention to yourself, the more others will pay attention to you. We usually fall into a lot of frustrations dealing with the reverse, especially the fellas. The more you pay attention to others, the more they pay attention to themselves. Right. The more you pay attention to others, the more they pay attention to themselves. You want to be cognizant of this at all times, because it's easy to be in your flyest, freshest gear with all of your lines ready and your swag up and all of that money in the pocket, all of that good stuff. And you can still not be chosen at all. You can be in a situation where you're not chosen. And a lot of guys take this very hard. But there can be some very simple steps that you can configure and reconfigure to change your odds. First of all, you have to be a lot more self-focused. I'm not saying necessarily self-centered, which would veer off into vanity, conceit, being conceited, being haughty, being cocky, being arrogant. Not these things. These things will push people away, believe it or not. And even for the males or females who like bad boys and bad girls, while it might be a hot and heavy fling, it will more than likely be fleeting unless you can keep up the act. See, a lot of us, when we enter into that space, even when we have a significant other already in the picture, we'll still want to keep certain parts of our game sharp. Like you might still find couples who flirt around each other's back. And they might not be advanced enough in red pill reality to even see the possible disrespects that come with this. And truthfully, if you guys are both over the age of 25, over the age of 30, this is not your job to teach the other partner. It's actually your lesson to know which people to avoid. You know, if they're going to be flings and fly by night scenarios, then at your own discretion and at the two of you's consent, do your thing. But don't make the mistake of making it more than what it is. No matter how good the chemistry is, no matter how well compatible you are physically to the other person, if you put this person on a pedestal, you become property. If you put this person on a pedestal, you will become their property. I'm not saying that you need to put the person down, but what you will see, if you're really meticulous, you'll start to see that as you pay more attention to the mate that you're after, they'll start to pay less attention to you. This is true, and this is part of the game, as they say, that goes into the red pill dating reality. And a lot of people, they get their fixes this way, especially the bitter and especially the depressed, the desperate. Not so much the desperate, because the desperate, they'll get down. But the depressed and those who really threw in the towel, for them, their only fix is attention. They only want to be liked. They only want to be admired. They only want others to attract them. This is their main goal. It may, a lot of times the goal for them is not even physical, especially if they haven't really experienced certain levels of tantra when it comes to the bedroom scene. And a lot of people probably have not. I have not taken a survey, but I'm just by taking the tone of society and seeing what's out here, it looks like there's a lot of tantra missing, because all of the little aggravations and all of the little emotional outbursts, all of this stuff can be fixed if things in the bedroom are fixed. If people are super satisfied in the bedroom, you're gonna get a lot of cooperation in the boardroom. If there's a lot of agreement in the bedroom and satisfaction in the bedroom, there'll be a lot of agreement and satisfaction in the boardroom. But if a person never makes it to the bedroom, they'll never find themselves in the boardroom, because these two things are connected. And when these values are misaligned, you end up with a perversion. You end up putting a price tag on a person. This is what's hidden behind the phrase, "What do you do for a living?" You could tell them, "What do you do for a living?" "I breathe in and out. That's what I do for a living." Because truthfully, if it's coming down to attraction, to add anything other than physicality is actually being disingenuous and facetious. The animals don't do this. If they're not domesticated, the animals don't necessarily do this. It'll be a flex of strength, if anything, and this is how one mate will validate the other as a selection. So you have to understand that there's two forces going on in society that are pressing hard against each other: monogamy and hypergamy. Monogamy is being kind of force-fed on society, or at least it has been. This is why divorces are what divorces are. I'll ask you this: can you get a divorce without being married first? No. Marriage is 100% the reason for divorce. Because why? Because you're bringing other things into it other than physicality. What God gave you to bless each other with is not your bank account. It's not your job. Both of you can get fired from your job. Who will you be to each other then? This is why you don't want to add superficial stuff into it. You don't want to fall in love or fall in like with the status of the person at the moment. Because what if that person falls off? What if that person is not the man anymore or not the woman anymore? What if they're not that superstar that you thought they were? You'll find yourself probably having Roman eyes, Roman ears, Roman legs, and then next thing you know, when in Rome, you know what I mean? These things are very, very real, and a lot of people don't realize when it comes to emotions, these things can be filled up if certain spaces are left vacant and neglected. This would be the case of A man who doesn't pay his woman hardly any attention and she becomes interested in other dudes and the like. If the woman is just taking the man for granted, mistresses is just going to grow out of the ground and fly out of the sky. Whether a woman is with someone or not, she's gonna get hollered at, because that's the reality. So you have terms out in the world like thirsty, like, oh, this is a thirst trap. It's a thirst trap. You need water to survive, and water is the only thing that can physically quench the thirst. And so the promotion of thirsty is a little demonic when you apply it to the red pill reality, because what it's saying is, oh, they're desiring, they're thirsty, they're desiring. But isn't this why we get fly? Isn't this why people put on makeup? Why people buy eyelashes, buy hair, buy nails, buy swag? Isn't this why? The emotional, physical rush that comes from physical attracting validation can be a drug that hits like crack cocaine if a person is exceptionally low self-esteem. I'll say that again. The slightest physical validation for a person who has no self-esteem, that first hit of validation is going to hit them like cocaine. And yes, if they come out of a long relationship, no matter how long and how strong that relationship was, if they're not in that anymore, and even if they are in it and it's just too plain and too routine and predictable, if there's no adventure, if the adventure stops, right? If the ride stops, if the amusement park should ever close for any reason, then either side can be attracted to other amusements, because there's always advertising going on. You know, every day someone's buying a pair of leggings. Every day a group of ladies is buying leggings. Every day a group of men is buying Under Armour muscle shirts. Every single day you got guys that's getting their lineups and getting their fades with their parts. Every single day you got women that's getting their you know what I mean, getting their micro braids and getting their silk wraps and getting their perms and everything else. Every single day you got guys buying Jordans. Every single day you had girls buying Manolo. They buy whatever they buy now. But as you know, in the boots game, it might be red bottoms, it could be Balenciagas, whatever the case. If these things creep into the picture, and if this plays too big of a role in your decision to choose the other partner, you're gonna find yourself trying to add more things to the relationship on a Voltron level, and you will be under the capitalistic illusion of thinking you're adding on, but the more you add on, the more you subtract, because you're falling under the marriage spell, which makes every relationship a business interaction, and is not supposed to be a business interaction. When I look at an attractive woman, I don't see a cash register. And likewise, if a woman is focused on the Most High or focused on inherent goodness, she's not going to put a price tag on her potential mates either. The assessment is going to come from pure attractability. You know, even to say that that person looks like money, it sounds good to say, but it's very devilish. Oh, they look like money. Let me go over there. Well, what happens when they don't look like money? Or what happens when you find out that they only look like money and they don't have money? What then? What happens then? What happens when you find out that this person was only a freak in the sheets to catch you, and now that they got you, they're a nun? What if this person was just temporarily in celibate just to hook up with you, and now that they hooked up with you, they got all the validation and self-esteem they need. Now they don't hunger for sex. So something else will step into the realm of physicality. And while people seek to minimize the physical part. The physical part is the most important part. You can't produce a child using money alone. Not if you're going to have an authentic bond between the mates. You're not going to drop a $100,000 check and watch that $100,000 check break water and literally give birth to a baby, so the money shouldn't count. If a person has a degree, that degree is not going to be on the operating table pushing out a baby. So you got to leave the degree off the table. But what is it that can produce a child? Their body. So the physical attraction is mandatory. Even if you want to say, oh, I like their mind, I like their energy, I like their spirit, I like their passion. That can only go so far. You know, if that person gets in a dry spell and they should get depressed for a season, you're going to find yourself entertaining others. This is why a lot of us don't throw away our phone books when we go through relationships. We don't throw those Rolodexes away because we know how fleeting relations can get. And here's the bad news and the good news all in one piece of news. This is real red pill content. The last time couples as a whole were really represented as authentic couples as a whole was the 1950s. If you weren't in a relationship in the 1950s, now you can be an outlier and be a person who's been successfully, happily married and still got the passion going on in a relationship and y'all been together for 20, 30 years. You do have outliers, but make no mistake, those are the outliers. Those are the outliers, actually. What the bulk of the dating scene is angst and anxiety, tension, and fear, because we're adding other things to it that don't need to be there. We're adding more than just the physicality. This is the reason why prostitution will never go out of style. Pimps will, but prostitution won't. A pimp gets caught, they create new charges for pimps. It was human slavery 40, 50 years ago. Now it's human slavery and trafficking. You know, pimps get longer sentences than killers. Murderers don't even get sentences. So relationships and that physical bonding thing is held very dear. No matter how much money we try to bury that reality in, it still comes down to physicality. Are you authentically physically attracted to the individual? Because if you're not, time is certainly going to tell, and time is going to tell very quickly. So don't, you know what I mean, whoever you are out there that needs to hear this, don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed if you're not chosen. Just love yourself more and understand that here's a good piece of advice. Because I don't want to just leave you with feeling positive. I want to give you a real action step that will trigger that positivity within you no matter what. Here's your self-esteem vitamin. If there was a pill or a vitamin or whatever that you could take that would just make you be confident, here it is. People can play you, but they can't play with you. People can play with you, or people can play you. They can. You can't see where people are. You can't see where your mate is, your partner, or your SOS, whatever. You can't see where they are. Even if you try to track them, and that's just creepy. Don't stalk nobody. That's super duper uncool. I've been stalked before, and you gotta just imagine how low the self-esteem of the person who's doing the stalking is if they're trying to keep tabs on one human being, knowing that there's about 9 million of us on the planet. That's already very, very dark and dangerous and nasty and very low. But with that being said, you have to be comfortable with the idea. Maybe not comfortable with the idea, but you better accept the idea that on a lot of levels, You can be played. You can be played. If a person, even if a person is not in a relationship with you like that, or they're not, even if they're not cheating on you, they can still play you. Even if they're not cheating on you, they can still play you. It's easy to play somebody. All you got to do is give them the last of your time. Give them whatever remnants of time you got left. And just like that, you're playing them. You're not moving them up in the priority. They're not getting any real time. They're not getting any real conversations with you. They're only getting glimpses and fleeting glances. And on the other side of the line, it's really the person just trying to show everybody in their immediate physical environment that somebody likes them. So they're already getting their hit of self-esteem dopamine. They're already getting that hit. They're already getting that rush just by being on the phone with you. And they're only on the phone with you maybe to go to the store. They're only on the phone with you because they're ordering food. They're only on the phone with you because they're about to be around their homies. They want their homies to know that they on the phone with their girl. She wants her homegirls to know that she on the phone with her guy. Or she wants the guys that she wants the guy that she's flirting with to be certain that she should be liked, because not only am I flirting with you, but I'm on the phone with a man. I got a man who's already waiting on me. And vice versa. Yeah, I could flirt with this girl because I got a girl that's on the line with me right now. These things are the reality of what happens in the red pill reality, the dating scene. And these things usually don't go expressed without a big dose of machismo and just other very personal type of emotions that spill over into this. So yes, you can be played. A person can play you with their job, and you would think like, oh man, you know, that's your money we talking about. No. Beyond the 40 hours, we're talking about money that they don't need. You know what I mean? If they're just putting like 55 hours a weekend on you, and you ain't dated them in a month, and they already got enough money, yeah, they're playing you. They're playing you for overtime. Or let's say they got a lot of family drama going on. Yeah, the drama in their family is causing them to play you. You're being played for their drama, for their family drama. Or the person could just be in a tight situation. It's the tight situation that they're playing you for. You get that? Or the person could be too self-absorbed in their own mission and career and all of that good stuff. And if they're claiming to want to be more than physical with a person, then they're playing you. If they say, I want to learn your mind, learn your heart, I want to learn your hopes and dreams, you know, brothers, don't be saying that to a sister if you can't be on the phone with her for no more than 5 minutes without talking about, let me call you back. Don't do that. Because then, you know, you're playing the person. You might not even realize it, but you're actually playing them. So that is what's trying to stop the good self-esteem pill, self-esteem boost from working. But here's the other half of it, and I'll repeat that part again too. Although people can play you at any time that they're out of your sight, even when they're right in your face, they can still play you. They can lie to you about a whole bunch of stuff. That's playing you too. But they cannot play with you. If you don't let them play with you, here's how you don't let a person play with you, all right? Don't try to stop them from playing you. No, let them play. Since they're full of games, let them play. You don't have to play. I don't have a PS5. I don't have a PS4. I don't have a PS3. I don't have a PS2. I don't have a PS1. I don't have an Xbox. I don't have an Xbox 360. I don't have a GameCube Nintendo. I don't have a Nintendo Switch. I don't have, I don't play games. I don't even play games on my phone. I don't play Bejeweled. I don't play Solitaire. I don't play Words with Friends. I don't play. And when you don't play, and I'm not saying that, just because you might play a few video games that all of a sudden you should be played. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that I'm so serious about not playing games that I really don't play games. Like, I don't even watch sports. I don't even watch games. I don't even want to see a game. That's how anti-games I'm about. But check this out. The more anti-games you are, the more game you have. I'll say that again. The more anti-games you are, the more game you have. I need to say that a third time. The more anti-games you are, the more game you have. Playing games is, yeah, I like you, this, that, and they always flirting and nothing never happens. They never follow through. It's always the next day and the next day and the next day and the next week. And he's always promising her the moon and always promising her the stars, but she can never get to him come the weekend. She can't find him. He gets ghost. He's playing games. But a person who is anti-games, they're going to let you know what it is, even if it's raw, because they're trying to get to the real results first, and they don't want to waste time playing games. Playing games is a waste of time, but having game redeems the time. Playing games is a waste of time, but having game redeems the time. Here's what having game is. Having game is understanding that the person, anyone, can play you, but letting them know, and you don't even have to let them know, but they'll see it in your eyes that you cannot be played with. You cannot be played with. So not being played with is, again, you loving yourself more, but being so fixated on yourself that you stop entertaining the games. That's the part. You'll have game once you stop entertaining the games, because what game is just a way of communicating effectively, you understand, in the easiest, most bold, most clear way possible. That's all game is. It's just a sharp one-liner. You know, if you have a potential person watching you and you're a guy and you want to play games, you'll keep glancing out of the side eye and looking at her and looking at her and looking at her, and you'll never shoot your shot. And the whole time she might have been trying to at least get you to notice her, maybe not to choose, but at least get you to notice her. But when you have game, I'll say let me go ahead and get imperfect. When you got game, you looking over and you kind of saying with your mouth, what's up? How you doing? All right, cool. You know, you smiling like, hey, how you doing? All right, okay, I see you looking. You know, it looks like you like what, unless you talking to somebody behind me, you know what I mean? It looks like you like me. I like you liking me. I like you liking me a lot. I like you too, but I like you liking me even more. That's game. That's game. Because even if she shuts you down, game lets you know, or it gives you the boldness and the skill, because you've practiced not playing games. That's why you got game. You can tell them straight up what it is. Like, yeah, I feel you physically. I don't know nothing about you. You might be stone cold crazy. You might be wild. You might have more drama than I can handle. But physically, I'm judging just by off of the eyes. I'm with it. This is going to get a mixed response, and it's going to get a mixed bag. Either way you slice it, you know what I mean? Especially if the woman is stepping up to the man that way. But if the man is stepping up to the woman that way, essentially there's going to be that shock value, because people aren't used to game. They're used to people playing games. And sometimes what people think is game is really them just playing games. You know, all of these, hey baby, you look good, this, that. You know, all of the empty brags. Real game is not, it doesn't really involve empty brags. I'm sorry to tell you, all these little pickup lines and all of that stuff. Game is really not about pickup lines as much as it is being a combination of honest, blunt, but having enough good mannerisms not to be tasteless. And you can't achieve that balance without practice. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. Fellas especially, you're gonna come off, you might have to come off corny in your younger years as you learn the dynamics of what the red pill reality is in the dating scene. You might have to start off like that, and a lot of guys can't handle that stage, so they'll skip over that. But you can't video game and Minecraft your way out of this. You can't World of Warcraft your way out of this. You can't Fortnite your way out of this. You can't Twitch stream your way out of this. You can't. If you want a partner, you got to get game. And you can't get game until you stop playing games. So this is what it is. If you have game, they can't play games on you. They'll just be playing games all by themselves. You know, if a person is so divided with the time that they give you, then go ahead and return the favor. You know, let some of those calls go missed. Just let them go missed. Don't pick up every time the person calls, because they're gonna know, like, they're gonna be thinking subconsciously, oh, okay, this person is a tool. I can pick them up and put them down anytime I want. Every time I call the person, they're there. They pick up on the second ring. Okay, all right, I know I already got them in the pocket. Now, what else? Because while they're calling you, or, you know, vice versa, you're both in your own worlds, right? You're both in your own worlds. You know, let her go to the store without being on the phone with you and see how confident she really is. Let him go to the store without being on the phone with you and see how confident he is. But you're not going to see how confident he is. And you're not going to see how confident she is. Or if we're using the more commonly used pronouns, you're not going to see what they are going through when they're not on the phone with you. That's the whole point of it. But the reason why you're using game and not playing games is because your time is really filled in with something. You're not just sitting there trying to play them. You got other things that you really are concerned about. You got other things that you really pertain to. And nobody, I mean nobody, is too busy for a partner that they're physically attracted to. I will say that again. Nobody is too busy for a person that they're physically attracted to. If they are, or if they seem to be, just know, whoever you are being played. You might not be necessarily getting cheated on, but you are being played, especially if things were not always like that before. This happens all the time. They call it the honeymoon disease. It is a dis-ease because the honeymoon is just a moon. Eventually that moon got to go away and the sun going to come up, revealing the light of the real day. Now all of the lights is on. Now you can see all of their things, all of their faults, all of their quirks, all of their... Now you can finally see them in that satin bonnet. Their hair ain't done up. Their nails ain't done up. Now you can finally see that brother in sweats. You can see him between haircuts. Now you can see just how many hairs in his face actually is gray if he haven't shaved in a while. Now you can see that the person is a little stuck up. Now you can see after the honeymoon. It's just a moon. You know, a lot of people like to deceive themselves and say, we're going to be in the honeymoon forever. Hopefully so. Because if you can be, for as long as you could be in the honeymoon effect, that's how long that physical attraction thing is going to go fairly reciprocated. But if the honeymoon thing should ever be seasonal or temporary, look out. You're going to have to recreate a honeymoon scenario over and over again. And if you don't do this, you best believe somebody else got a moon out there with honey on it, and they coming. And they coming. They coming. I'm telling you, it never fails. A lot of people don't understand this yet because they don't go outside. They don't go outside, and they don't know how to talk to people. They don't know how to talk to people, and they don't go outside, and they don't get practice. You know what I mean? You gotta have other things, because remember, this is about physical attraction. Part of that is going to be your voice, your body language, right? How you look, all of the things that seem superficial, but if it's pertaining directly to the physical, right? And this is how a lot of this is why some of the richest people end up in some of the most terrible relationships. Because they got a whole stack of money covering them. They got a whole salary covering them. And whether they realize it or not, if they're leading with that, they're saying, hey, baby, you like my Amex card? Hey, baby, I got the black card. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you see these frames. These Versace frames. Look at me. Look at my jewelry. Look at, you know what I mean? Look at my jacket. Look at my bling. Look at my dab. Look at my dab, huh? Look at my dab. Rest in peace to Takeoff. Look at my dab. So these kind of things, she's not gonna those things, that jewelry that you're wearing is not literally sex toys. The car that you're driving, Even if you turn it up loud and it does that vibration thing in the seats, it's still not a sex toy. That thing's gonna run out of gas. You're gonna have to fill it up. It's gonna have to get it tuned up. Eventually, you're dropping her off wherever you're dropping her off at, or she's dropping you off wherever. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's a reality. That's gonna happen. That's gonna happen. So let's not delude ourselves in ignoring the very Dionysian influence over all of society that has really been there from day one. And this is gonna be a rough rule or a rough reality to really state for a lot of people who've still subscribe to the older demiurge. You can be with whoever you want to be with, whenever you want to be with them, if the two of y'all hook that up. Period. This is why people don't care anymore. You know what I mean? It's not that married people are not having sex. It's just that they're not having sex with each other as much. A lot of times they're really getting their rocks off from their side pieces. And they're not going to talk about this stuff. You know what I mean? They're both working overtime. You know, they always got something to do. They always got somebody to help, you know. They always got somebody to help and always got somebody to look for. Or he's always busy. He's always at the studio. Yeah, he's at the studio 7 days a week. But in a whole year, he only came out with 4 songs. And ain't none of them hitting. What was he doing? Or she's got all of these people to help. And it's like, well, dang, this person got too many stories. You know, it's further encouraging you to just be physical with the person. You don't want to get caught up in all of that, the million storylines. Nah, miss me with that. Call your real friends for that. But if you need the physical thing, see, we have to keep things where they are in proper perspective. But what things like marriage does and the whole forcing of monogamy, not allowing you to decide for yourselves, understand, but just saying this is right, this is wrong. If you sleep with more than this, you're going to hell. You know, they push that. That's part of the old demiurge. That's part of what we call the OWO, the old world order. We're not in the old world anymore. We're in the new world order. Matter of fact, it's so new. You know, there's terms, relationship terms that I don't even really understand yet. That's how fast the terms are coming out. You know, you go look at some of these new shows now and they'll say, what are you? And they're going to have a whole paragraph that's going to describe their orientation, who they prefer, when they prefer them, how they prefer them. And it's going to be like 10 or 11 words, or at least 6 or 7 words. I heard a lot of stuff that I did not understand. You know what I mean? The guy was asking some lady, and she was cool. She was cool looking. He was like, oh, so what are you? You know what I mean? Or what, you know what I mean? It was kind of like that, like I guess an informational session. And she was like, she said like 10 other things. She said, I'm non-binary, gender specific, hypergamous. She had like 8 or 9 adjectives. And the way she rattled it off and the way they accepted it, I could tell that was regular jargon coming from a generation that I am not a part of. We have to learn to stay in our lane. In the red pill reality, you got to stay in your lane. I don't care if he's a sugar daddy, ladies. I don't care if she's a sugar mama, young men. If you are listening to Frank Ocean and your partner is pulling up listening to Al Green, you already know what time it is. Y'all need to just go ahead and get that physical thing in and keep those phone conversations very minimal, because there's a such thing as quality time versus quantity time. This is all red pill talk, That's why I'm taking my time, because I don't make any dating videos, and I had to realize, like, yo, I'm leaving a whole audience of people out. I can't do that. You know what I mean? This is Sigma programming. This is a program that extends over as many facets of life as I can cover. And I was like, wow, I left a lot of people in the dating world stranded. If there's anybody like in between relationships that happens to come by my channel and I don't have anything for them, you know, I'm gonna feel like I cheated them. I'm gonna feel like I'm playing them. I'm gonna feel like I'm playing games, to not at least bring up real red pill talk at least once. And this is why you get this mix of information. And it's like, This is why the harshest of truths are really the truths that will set you free. You know, the truth is that, yes, men can have more than one woman. And yes, the truth is a man cannot stop a woman from having more than one man. I'm going to say that again. The truth is a man can have more than one woman. But what is equally true is that a man cannot stop a woman from having another man. Since this is true and you're physically attracted to the person anyway, just keep it physical. You can be civil and talk and all of that good stuff. Be cool, be friends, because if it's not, if otherwise it's gonna be is really gonna be prostitution if you're talking like that. I don't care if y'all buying Wendy's together. Yes, for the price of a sandwich, for the price of a baconator, for the price of a baconator. Yeah, that's what it is. Especially if there's no balance there, you gonna see it. If just look back over your own relationships. If you've been through a few, I've been through a few where, I was playing myself. Even I was playing her, I was playing myself, and I was playing games with myself and with the other person. I myself, Torian, Super T Sigma, I've done this. You know what I mean? I've made those mistakes and played myself. But I also experienced the tremendous benefits of no longer playing games. So when it comes down to attraction in this whole hard to get game, you need to leave that alone. Men and women both. If there's anybody, I mean anybody, playing hard to get, or if they're not interested and they're not showing any interest at all, move on is a numbers game. Move on is a numbers game. I'll say that again. Move on. It's a numbers game. I've been chosen by women at the same time being rejected by the women I was chasing. I have been chosen by women while being rejected by the women I was chasing. It's a weird feeling because you after you on Beyonce's heels. You like, I gotta get, you know what I mean? But what you don't see is that Kelly Rowland is scoping you from the background, and she's the one who's really choosing up on you. And when it comes to this red pill reality, it's not so much about who you like, but it's about who likes you like them. Yeah, that's what happens. So don't turn your back on the Bahamas just for a swim in a local hotel pool, because you're chasing the pool. You're chasing whatever you're chasing, but you need to have that panoramic view, and you got to learn how to let go. The moment they flake, I'm talking about the moment they flake. Act like you allergic to cereal, and just anytime they flake, just break off. Like, I'm allergic to flakes. If it's Raisin Bran, if it's Frosted Flakes, now I'm not literally allergic to cereal, but act like you allergic to flakes. Act like it's a whole bunch of dandruff when somebody don't give you the right energy. Act like dandruff is all over them and there's a strong breeze. Just get out. Jordan Peele style. Get out. You know what I mean? Get out. So these are red pill realities that, you want to touch on. And, this is going to protect your heart, because at the same time, this is helping you to love yourself on mad different levels. But there's some hard truths that you got to be able to accept and be able to move with and maneuver with at the same time, so that your self-love can be perfected properly. Super T Sigma programming, whether you take the red pill, the blue pill, or the new pill, just do you and love yourself. Peace.